Hello, Dave. I'm so happy to be in direct with you in San Francisco. It's such a pleasure. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure. I have to admit, I'm still drinking coffee. I haven't started on wine yet.
Of course. It's such a difference with France. So, how is San Francisco today?
It is cold and foggy, just like our reputation would indicate.
Yeah. And for the wine growers, for the wine professionals that follow what I am sharing on the internet, can you introduce yourself? Can you explain a little about your business and, of course, your experience? Because I have a lot of good information about you, but it's better if it's yourself sharing it.
Sure. I'm a wine merchant here in California, and I focus on boutique producers from around the globe. And I think that what people are interested in right now in my little sector of the wine business is discovering new wines from new varietals, new producers, new regions. And so that's what makes it interesting. A wine with a story.
Yes, of course. And with the French producers with whom I am working on daily basis, we call that the soul of the wine, because more and more we do not want any more fails chateau or fails labels, and everybody is looking for authenticity. And in the past, without internet, it was easy to think an expensive wine is an authentic wine. And nowadays we realize that it's very easy with even Google Earth to check where is the vineyard, how it is, how it looks. And so there is more and more a huge demand for authenticity in the field of premium wine.
I couldn't agree more. I think that's exactly the trend. It's not that the day of the wine critic and the scores is over. There are still a segment of the market that rely heavily on those. But I think the new upcoming generations are particularly interested in the wine story and the authenticity, like you say.
Good. And one of the big part of my work is to train the wine grower in the vineyard to present their wine with videos, with short videos of 1 or 2 minutes, and to spread it directly in front of the wine merchant, in front of the store, because now, we can target 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers around the store. And one of my big enthusiasms for the future is to know that perhaps in front of your shop, people in San Francisco can see one of my wine growers because after 2 or 3 training, it's very easy. And to see, okay, go to Dave now. He's keeping only 10 cases, and I share you this cuvée and like that.
Galatee, we share the dream, we share the vision, and that's what I'm moving towards. On the side of every bottle, I have a QR code, and when the buyer scans that code, it pops up either the information page or if I have had time, a video about the wine, and it shows the vineyard, the producer, the history of the region, whatever it is that tells the story of that wine. And my idea is that it helps to bring more of an experience to the table or to the picnic or the beach or wherever it is that it's being opened, so that when you are sharing it with your friends, you've got a story that you can share with them. To do that in the tasting room would be great as well. So having a TV up there, having something from the producer themselves would be tremendously helpful.
Yeah, and what I say to the wine growers is you cannot automatize the work in the vineyard, you cannot automatize the work in the cellar, but nowadays you can automatize the help you can provide to your importers, because if you register the good video, the video for the vintage can last 12 months. And you do not more need to go to exhibition, to travel so much, because if you do even a fantastic wine dinner, and if it's not filmed, it's lost. And one good thing of the COVID, because there is also a good thing, is that we are obliged to really rethink our communication and distributing process. And we have not a production problem, we have not a consumption problem, we have just an adaptation challenge with this new technology to bring the wine story directly to the stores.
Right, I agree. The challenge that I have is getting the materials for creating these videos. If the producers could provide them, it would be fantastic. Right now, I like creating them myself because it's kind of a competitive advantage. I don't know of any other retailer that does this, but I'm sure it's only a matter of time, and there may be even another one out here somewhere in the States that is doing it. But I think it helps with the transparency. It helps introduce the families behind these wines, the people in the vineyards. All of this is interesting, particularly when people can't travel or get out to all of the different places where they want to buy wine from.
Yes, and in the Wine Growers Club that I am making, there is also family work, because sometimes the father do not want to do the video, so it's the daughter who does the video, or some of the time the mother want to do the video and it's the son that is making all with the software, all the work after the video. But really now be prepared, because I am training 50 wine growers per year. And
Wow.
after 3 months, they are totally autonomous in video making, and they make like 2 or 3 videos per month. So
that's fantastic.
Yeah, and they do in the vineyard when the weather is good, and they do also, they have a setup in the cellar, perfectly organized. And I am not filming them, I train themselves to film themselves in do it yourself, but with a good script, to not be too long. Yes, like that.
Yeah.
And what I add, because when you do it yourself, in the video, we add at the end of the video the selling point and the name of the seller. We can accurate the system to that point, and then we can spread the video in front of the store to all the computers, the phone, all that. So in France, we are doing this yet in Europe, but I am very happy to share all that with you, because for me, I was like sure that every Californian wineries are doing that yet. And 3 weeks ago, a Californian wine grower contacted me, and I tell him all that, and he said, but I don't know that exists. And I said, but all the tools are coming from California.
Yeah, well, you know, the tools may come from here, but it takes the people to implement them. So I'm glad that you're doing it. This is fantastic news. I'm very pleased to see it. And if I can help bring it over here, let me know. I'd be happy to do so.
Yeah. And at the beginning, when I start, people were thinking that video is only for popular wines and it's not for big wines. And not at all, because the more authentic the wine is, we are now in the club with also a Portuguese and Italian producer that sells, the Portuguese one sells at €300 the bottle.
Wow.
And for that, you need video. You absolutely need explanation. If not, it will take you 20 years to develop your wine story.
Right. And Galatee, one of the things that I found is that even less expensive wines under $50. So what would that be, like €65?
Yeah.
Those benefit from videos as well, because so many people think that if it's cheap, it must be manufactured. It's factory wine, right?
Yeah.
And there are a lot of inexpensive wines that are still coming from families.
Yeah. And this is great because, you know, as I am in a long story family in wine, and we say always in vino veritas. And so, of course, I love truth. And this new technology rebalance the truth of wine. Because if you are a big negotiant making a lot of blend, even with big budget, you will not be able to make an authentic video in the vineyard with the producer. But if you are a small family with a good popular wine, even if it's not the more expensive, you can sell it a little better price to improve your investment on the vineyard and all that, and have much more success than the biggest company. And it's rebalancing a lot of things in the wine business for the future, because it takes time, but it's very nice perspective.
So tell me how, one of the things that you said I'd like to have you go back to and expand on it for me. What are you using to tell the story right around a merchant's trade area? You were talking about, you know, targeting kilometers away.
First of all, we work with the wine grower about the soul of the wine, because I discover that it's not the appellation problem, it's not a great problem. It's really, like, I call that a vibe. There is like that you need to have in the video a very specific, yes, like a music, something very specific. And even if the wine grower is not handsome, even if he's old, even if in the cellar it's not super design, if we keep this, we have it. And so we start all video, it's 2 or 3 words, we call that the claim. But we start the video with that, and then we add the need of the consumer. You need, I see you, you need a rosé. Good, I am in the cellar. And something very spontaneous and very short. And most of the time in the wine business, we have lost the pleasure of wine. So we write the script with the wine grower and we insist in 1 minute, but we insist and insist on the pleasure of wine, on the aroma, on the elegance, on the balance, even on the originality. And when we make it, we want the people that have not the wine in hand is really with the water in mouth, really. Yeah. And at the end, we say that, oh, by chance, you are 5 kilometers to the store. Go. And it's not something that you can find on Amazon. It's not something that you can find on big internet online shop. If you don't take action with the video, you have lost. You are not sure to see the video again.
Right.
But we are making what we call a retargeting. So we are making 1.7 times to represent the video to the person who have seen the video 50%. And after that, finish.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, because on internet, there is 2 words. There is a word of everything available all the time, like a supermarket. And there is the magic world of internet with unique, like we are doing, with unique meeting and unique opportunities. But I am talking too much. It's me.
It's all right. This is interesting. I like what where you're going with this. How can I see some of your videos?
You need to be targeted. I will send you in private. It's in French, but you can activate a subtitle. Yeah.
Sure. Okay, good.
So tell us more about the situation of the wine market now in California, in San Francisco. Is everybody having low stock? Because with all the lockdown and all that, we were all drinking a little bit more.
You know, that is a great question. And I get that question all the time. The news reports are that wine sales skyrocketed during the pandemic. And my sales went up a bit. They were up about 18%.
Yeah.
But you see the likes of wine.com doubling in size. They're a $385 million company now, or something ridiculous like that. So it seems like the benefit was not equally shared,
Yeah.
right? And so, yes, people are drinking more, but they went back to their old reliables. The adventurous wine drinkers seem to require more work than people felt like they had time and energy to put in. So I think that right now we're seeing a better explosion. We've had some really great months of revenue. Mother's Day was huge this year. People sending flowers and wine like you would not believe. So yeah, I think that it's back. It's coming back. And we just need to really take advantage of this sort of interaction that people have gotten used to now, and really drive that. Use this as a lever to really drive that excitement and the demand in the marketplace.
Yeah.
One of the things that I'm seeing in California is, and we are such a huge market, I think we have to break it down into segments, because there's only about 4%, 5% of the population in America that spends more than $20 on a bottle of wine. That's like 24 euro.
Yeah.
It's a very small market, but that's the market that most wine merchants, upscale wine merchants, are going after, or that's the market they serve, right? And so everything that I'm saying is within that small group, that group of avid wine drinkers. Now in California, that's probably more like 25% of the population. It's a much bigger wine-focused population out here. Yeah. And people are used to going on vacations to the wine country and experiencing the vineyards and the walking into the cellar with that smell of the oak and the wine fermenting and all of that magic that happens. Yeah. Right? The yeast. Oh my gosh, I can smell it in my head right now.
Yeah, me too.
So it's something that we can share, and it's therefore grown in size, and the market is much larger. I also think it's a more sophisticated market today. It's not relying on Robert Parker and the other rating services. It's really moved almost away from the bloggers towards influencers within our own personal circle. Perhaps on social media for specifically the millennials and the Gen Zs that are coming along. The oldest Gen Z is now 22 years old. So in short order, they're going to be in the prime years of earning dollars and buying wine. So we have to think about how to appeal to them. And that's one of the things that I like about what you're doing here, Galatee.
Yes. And also what is happening is most of the time I make the parallel with Kylie Jenner, that you know, the Kardashian things. Because I was saying, you know, in the past, in makeup business, there were Chanel, Yves Saint Laurent, like we are the Grand Cru of Bordeaux, La Romanée Conti, all that. And then there were the little supermarket brands. And with the social network, with all that system of video, with all that clients that became influence client and really fan client. And after that, the client were creating their own brand in middle range.
Right.
And this is what we are seeing now. When Brad Pitt is making his own wine, there is a lot of people in California that will love to do their own brand. And in France, we have a lot of wine growers that will be happy to have co-investment and to make specific brand. There is a huge future opportunity for that, because they are developing a lot of them to, for example, to increase the vineyard, to buy 5 hectares more. But in California, we can make these 5 hectares more in 1 week with modern internet tool and the possibility to have your own label for your Instagram. You know?
I like it.
And in the past, all that was totally impossible. even to imagine. And nowadays, you know, when we start to connect like we do, we start to imagine. So it takes time, but it's co-creating really a desirable future for the wine business. And if we do not believe it, it's what is happening yet in the makeup industry or in the video game industry.
Mm-hmm.
So why not in the wine business?
Mm-hmm.
And it's fascinating because when you observe in all that business development, video game or makeup, it's working if you are totally involved in your passion, in your dream. If you dream the makeup, you do video for makeup, you put a lot of makeup in your face. The same for video game. So imagine the future generation of wine lovers will be fantastic connoisseur, but in the best way, about the truth of the wine, about the story of the land, about the vulnerability also, the subtle part and the magical part of a wine, not only the scientific way of looking to that. But I'm talking too much.
Let me ask, what do the French producers see in terms of alternate packaging? Is that something that is common over there?
Yeah, I work. I don't was thinking I have not one here. I have not one on my desk. It's on the other desk. But I am working with Tetrapak. You know Tetrapak?
Tetrapak, yes, yeah.
Yeah, and we are doing what I call mini box, 250 milliliters. And if you drink wine in a Tetra Pak mini box, it's fantastic because you can drink from the card box. It's not like a can. With the can, you can drink a beer, you can drink a bubble wine with a can, but not a wine. So with the mini box Tetra Pak, you know the same you have for fruit juice.
Yeah.
So your brain, since you are a teenager, is used to have fruit juice with that. So you start like a fruit juice, but it's not. And so it's a great experience because it's little rock and roll experience. It's really avant-garde experience. And I am working a lot with Tetra Pak on this mini box. And there is 2 priority markets, California and Japan and South Korea. Yeah.
Okay, good.
So
Well, I'll tell you what.
producers are in advance with this mini box.
I like the idea, and I'll tell you why. Not only is it lighter than glass and therefore more sustainable,
Of course.
it's also great for getting samples.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I have not been able to carry a wine because I can't efficiently get a sample sent to me. Yeah. And I can't expect somebody to send a 750 in a glass bottle. I mean, it's $18 to ship that to me. You know, one bottle, $18.
And even on the weight with Tetra Pak, so when I put 3 mini box, it's like a bottle in my handbag when I go to restaurant, because sometimes in restaurant I'm not finding good wine for me.
Right.
And they don't know that Tetra Pak. So I arrive in the restaurant, I ask for water, so there is a bucket of ice. I put my mini box, and then you throw it. So it's very fun. I'm sure it's a future, but it's very innovative for French producer. I am doing that with a free winery, and we are developing that with 1 winery in South Africa.
Great.
Yeah, but
please keep me informed. I'm interested.
Yeah, and for me, it's much better than the can for current. It needs to be premium. It needs to be good, and you can have this for 3 years in Tetra Pak, so it's good.
Okay, good. Have you done taste tests to compare?
Yes, we have done a lot of consumer tests, and we have done consumer tests in California with 89% of purchase willing. It was surprising for a new product. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because everybody knows the wine, everybody knows Tetrapak, and everybody find it so funny to have wine in juice box
yeah.
from card box.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
it.
So I
Great.
will show you another time, but not in public because there is also a lot of confidential information. But this is not
Absolutely.
accessible for teeny winery. This is okay for middle-sized winery because when you do a bottling, you need to make a certain volume.
I see.
You cannot do for 600 units. It's not huge. You need to start to I don't want to say the figure in public, but I will share with you. Yeah.
Okay.
But half a container is possible.
Good, good. One of the things that is growing over here is the increasing quality in the bag and box, the BIB,
Yeah.
the box wine. It's slowly creeping up, and people are finally getting their minds around alternative packaging. Similarly, for on-premise sales, wine in kegs.
Yeah.
So we're seeing a drive towards more sustainable packaging, things that don't require a glass bottle and a cork. As much as I love the sound of the popping cork, it's one of the only auditory pieces of enjoying wine. I think that we do need to look at alternative packaging pretty seriously.
Yeah. And we see all that trend too in Europe. And now it's more and more, it's depending of the supply chain. For example, if you are on a typical bistro restaurant, even in France, you can have a screw caps. In the past, it was impossible. But now we have a lot of bar à vin, we have a lot of fun, like wine and tapas, that kind of thing. So because screw caps at the beginning was only for export market, and now you see a lot in France, and it's appreciated. And for the wine box, we have a lot of different size, different innovation, and it's also here growing up in terms of quality and possibilities.
It's interesting you talk about screw caps. When I vacationed in New Zealand and Australia, you can't find anything except screw caps.
Yeah.
And they have they turn up their nose at corks because they've got this mindset that cork taint is pretty serious problem over there. So it's interesting the perceptions that various parts of the world have come to on packaging and on closures.
Good. And what about the Californian wine growers? Are there now? They are with a good harvest, they are enthusiasts, or they are a little in difficulties with
Yeah, we're fighting drought, which is extended, it's protracted over quite a number of years now. I don't even remember how many. And as a result, the fires are very, very serious.
Yeah.
You can probably hear in my voice a little irritation from the air. It's because we have smoke for 3-4 months out of the year now.
Yeah.
And it's a problem for smoke taint. If there are fires during the harvest and when the grapes are ripe and the smoke gets on the skins, it's not something you can just easily wash off.
I have seen that in Australia too. In Australia,
Absolutely.
2 years ago, it was impossible to harvest.
And if you taste a Shiraz from that harvest, you can tell it tastes like you're licking the inside of an ashtray.
Yeah. I know.
Which is not pleasant.
No. And so in the future is association of wine grower or planning things, or it depends of the states, or what is happening to drive that or to protect better the vineyard?
It's really a long-term solution. We have to take better care of our forests. We have to reduce emissions. We have to do so many different things. I think in so many ways, our industry is a leader in sustainability.
Mm.
You know, we have fish-friendly farms, we have low emissions, we have wineries that are starting to capture their CO2 from fermentations. You know, there really are one of the leading industries, not just agricultural industries, one of the leading industries in sustainability, and I'm proud of that. But we have such a massive problem. I mean, with ice caps melting and seas rising and droughts and fires, and it really is a big challenge. And as much as we are doing everything that we can as an industry, I think it requires more from more different government and industrial bodies, and do whatever you can to support that aggressively, crazily aggressively.
And so it's a perhaps the occasion to talk about that in a few months, because I will develop a master class about sustainability and about the climate changing, and also about the inflation, the rise in the price of wine because of the frost in France and now the mildew. Yeah. So perhaps when I do the masterclass, we can do something together, because I can share you solution, but it will be too long for this sharing. For example,
Yeah.
some wine growers are planting vine in circle. Others are it's fantastic to see from the sky a circle of vine. I will show you the picture. Some others are having partnership to plant a lot of trees around every vineyard to better make microclimate. And there is a lot of solution, and a lot of people escaping the big cities to come back in a village and making connection and investing in the vineyard too. It's small little initiative, but when you see all of this, it's a lot at the end, and it will be a game changing in the future. So what is your message for the French producers that follow my videos in direct from San Francisco?
I will tell you in one sentence, and that's leverage your history.
Great. Fantastic. All is said. Thank you very much, Dave, and see
Thank
you
you.
soon. Thank
Okay.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.